What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about a very interesting controversy. It seems like there is a big debate now about what I think is perhaps the most hyped PlayStation 5 launch game, which is Demon's Souls. Today we got a huge information dump, including all sorts of new gameplay, new interviews, and a lot of new information about how this game is going to look and play. And honestly, this stuff just seems stunning. But this has also started an interesting debate, or maybe I should say a heated conversation about, is Demon's Souls, this remake, going to be too hard? Now that people are seeing this gameplay again for the first time in years, I think a lot of people have forgotten that this was the hardest Souls game. A lot of people are actually directly talking to the developers and saying, can we pretty please get an ultra easy mode? And I find this fascinating because everything we learned today is actually pretty deep dive. They've been talking about the fact that this is going to have different graphics modes, all sorts of interesting stuff like Kurosawa, so if you want to play in black and white, you can play it with the original PlayStation 3 graphics basically, which is hilarious. But the thing that seems to have gotten people a little bit mad in a way is that they have now said no difficulty settings. Absolutely no difficulty settings. Now, everything about this seems great. To me, this seems like a positive, but their exact wording here, and this is by Gavin Moore, he said, there are no difficulty options in Demon's Souls, and there shouldn't be. And for some reason, I think it's those direct words that seem to have kind of ticked people off. Now, I decided to watch the exact interview. This right here is Gavin Moore right here. This is the guy like in charge of the game itself. I think that his argument is very sound. Now, we need to keep in mind one major thing, which is that the Demon's Souls remake is a remake. This is supposed to be a faithful recreation of an already existing game. And if there's something that Bluepoint is definitely the most famous about, it's about making some of the best remakes of all time. What they've managed to do with Shadow of the Colossus was nothing short of spectacular. So the fact that they're going back to the well and doing that again, I understand that they're trying to preserve the original intent. Now, one of the counter arguments I've seen people saying is, if they're changing some stuff, why not change more stuff? If they're willing to change the graphics, if they're willing to change character models, if they're willing to try and tweak certain stuff, why can't they just add it in there as an extra option? I've even seen some people say, complaining about this, so there's now the pre-order bonuses have just been discovered for the digital deluxe edition, and it turns out that certain items are actually locked out. These are things that were just part of the original game. Now they're stupid pre-order bonuses. So I've even seen some people saying maybe I'd be more excited for the game if it was possible to even buy an easy mode. Now, I am baffled by this. I want to look at some tweets real quick before I get into my thoughts, but let me just say right up front, I strongly disagree. I am a Dark Souls fanatic. I have beaten every single Souls game. I've actually beaten the really early From Software stuff like Shadow Tower. Nobody even knows what this game is anymore, but I've actually beaten it. It's really interesting. I like that kind of stuff. In fact, now that I think about it, I'm wearing a Dark Souls shirt. These games, though, they are based around the art of the challenge. They are based around the concept of, this is supposed to be a hard task. You are going through the lands of the dead. Sometimes you're defeating the devil himself, you know? These are not a game series about just waltzing in and claiming your victory trophy. But even still, it seems like a lot of people are just saying, Demon's Souls doesn't have difficulty options, so I guess that's another game I'm not getting. If the rumors are true, I doubt they are, and Demon's Souls Remake has difficulty options, it's a day one purchase for me. If not, it's not for me. So, see, people are flat out saying they will not buy the game if it does not have an easy mode. Now, let me give you a counter argument. Let me try and sway you to my side of things. So my favorite series of all time is Final Fantasy. I am obsessed with Final Fantasy. I have beaten every game, every version of every game, and the ones that kind of intrigue me the most is the mainline series is pretty easy. 1 through 15, those are all pretty simplistic. You do some grinding, you do some leveling up, you kill some bosses. But there are some exceptions. There are some super bosses, but the ones that kind of stick in my mind the most aren't just the main games. It's also the really interesting spin-offs, and some of them that really kind of, I think, manage to be different is the Tactics series. Now, these games are interesting to me because you can lose at this. You can actually completely fail at a tactics game. These are, in my own way, I would say that these are sort of the Dark Souls of the Final Fantasy series. Now, somebody's laughing, but let me try and explain what I mean. In this game, it's more than just trying to level up. It's more than just having the proper class balance. If you play this game wrong, if you manage to screw things up, you can actually break your save file in some of the Final Fantasy Tactics games. But I consider this a net benefit. If they decided to make an ultra easy mode for the Final Fantasy Tactics games, I do not believe that it would be the same experience. I truly think that this would water it down and make it worse because you're actually breaking down the original intent. This is just my point of view as somebody who has beaten Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, Sekiro, and of course Final Fantasy Tactics, but as I go through a lot of these interviews, I'm fascinated by the fact that they really talk about trying to keep the purity of the vision. They're trying to make sure that this is a remake first and foremost. It is supposed to be the original game coming back, but bigger and better. And in this thing, I've actually found this very interesting, is our approach to this is we're trying to keep the core of the game untouched. With Demon's Souls, that's gameplay, that's logic, that's AI, that's everything else being stripped away, and then utilizing the incredible power of the PlayStation 5. As we scroll through this article, there's a bunch of really good screenshots and stuff, but it is over on Polygon.com, so even this interviewer had to complain a little bit about the big ol' spooky difficulty right here. Despite requests from a portion of the audience for easier difficulty options and a vocal contingent that would be upset by such a concession, there will be no difficulty settings in Demon's Souls on PlayStation 5, more confirmed. It's true to the original. It's a fair challenge in my view. It's about learning enemy patterns, learning the environments, knowing in combat when to challenge yourself and with that risk-reward combat system, when to go in and attack and when to pull back. I hear that a lot. Demon's Souls, that game's really hard. I'm just not going to play. And I think you're really missing out if you don't play this PlayStation Classic. Now, this entire statement is great. I'll say this, after reading a bunch of these interviews, not only am I excited to see what this remake is all about, not only am I excited to see the tiny tweaks and changes, but I'm more excited to die in it now because I want to see the vision that Gavin has crafted in this. Like, clearly these developers are trying to crystallize the original vision of it. Now, to the people that are saying, why isn't it at least an option? Why is this just such a mandatory difficulty thing? Why can't it be something like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker? Why can't I enjoy myself? Why is it everything has to be a test? Well, here is my point of view. Completely honestly, I believe that the challenge is part of the experience. Dying, having to get your souls back, trying to figure out a new weapon, or sometimes just accidentally getting too far from a campfire and getting cornered by a giant trap. These are not accidents. They are features. These are not bugs. These are not errors. Having those really bad deaths, sometimes being frustrated and having to just set the game down for a minute, that is part of the Dark Souls experience. Demon's Souls is definitely the hardest of the Souls games, and I think that even some Souls fans are going to get completely steamrolled by this experience, but I think that that is going to be better for it. I am curious to see how this game is received, and I am very, very happy that this is not going to be getting an ultra easy mode. Would it have sold better with an easy mode? Even then, I don't think it is. Within this modern gamescape, I do think that now we're in an interesting time where gamers like to try and test themselves. There's definitely this like competition among ourselves where everybody wants to try and defeat the highest difficulty and get the most trophies or achievements because it's more than just bragging rights. I think that gamers are getting older. I think that there is less young gamers. I think there's less gamers like under 12 now. And a lot of people now are dudes in their like 30s and 40s who are sitting down with these video games. And I think that these are people now who they have the skills, they have the decades of practice, and they want to see that new big challenge. They want to have that new cool experience that they can't get anywhere else. And it seems like the PlayStation 5 is going to be starting this generation off with quite the bloody bang. But I guess we're going to see, what do you think? Are you actually a fan of easy mode Dark Souls, or easy mode Demon's Souls, or easy mode anything? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you're a fan of ultra easy mode, please tell me that too. My computer had a bunch of problems this morning, so I hope I can upload this video, but who knows what's going to happen. If you see this, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.